mainstream media's portrayal of global warming has been a topic of controversy in recent years, with some arguing that it is being used as a tool to oppress Christians. While this claim may seem far-fetched, it is essential to examine the ways in which the media's coverage of global warming may be perpetuating a narrative that is hostile to Christian values. One of the primary concerns is that the media's emphasis on environmental issues is being used to promote a secular, liberal agenda that is often at odds with Christian teachings. For instance, the idea of stewardship of the earth is a core Christian value, but the media's focus on radical environmentalism can be seen as an attempt to supplant traditional Christian values with a more secular, human-centered approach. This can be seen in the way that environmental activists are often portrayed as heroes, while those who question the orthodoxy of climate change are vilified and ostracized. Furthermore, the media's coverage of global warming often ignores or downplays the economic and social impacts of environmental policies on Christian communities. For example, the push for renewable energy and reduced carbon emissions can lead to increased energy costs, which can have a disproportionate impact on lower-income families and communities, many of which are composed of Christians. Additionally, the media's focus on climate change can lead to the marginalization of Christian voices and perspectives, as those who question the dominant narrative are often labeled as deniers or anti-science. The media's use of enriching rhetoric is also noteworthy, as it often employs a tone that is condescending and dismissive towards Christians who hold dissenting views on global warming. This can be seen in the way that skeptics are often labeled as flat earthers or climate deniers, terms that are meant to be pejorative and delegitimizing. Moreover, the media's tendency to sensationalize and exaggerate the consequences of climate change can create a sense of fear and urgency that is not supported by the scientific evidence, leading to a kind of climate hysteria that can be damaging to Christian communities. Another concern is that the media's coverage of global warming is often tied to a broader agenda of promoting liberal, progressive values that are antithetical to Christian teachings. For instance, the emphasis on social justice and equity in the context of climate change can be seen as an attempt to co-opt Christian language and values in service of a secular, liberal agenda. This can be seen in the way that environmental activists often use Christian-style rhetoric and imagery to promote their cause, while simultaneously rejecting traditional Christian values and teachings. The media's use of global warming as a wedge issue to divide Christians is also a concern. By portraying Christians who question the dominant narrative on climate change as anti-science or anti-environment, the media can create a sense of division and conflict within Christian communities. This can lead to a kind of eco-theology that prioritizes environmentalism over traditional Christian values, leading to a kind of spiritual confusion and disorientation. In conclusion, while the claim that the mainstream media is using global warming to oppress Christians may seem extreme, it is essential to recognize the ways in which the media's coverage of this issue can perpetuate a narrative that is hostile to Christian values. By promoting a secular, liberal agenda that is often at odds with Christian teachings, ignoring the economic and social impacts of environmental policies on Christian communities, and using language and rhetoric that is condescending and dismissive towards Christians who hold dissenting views, the media can contribute to a kind of climate oppression that is damaging to Christian communities. As Christians, it is essential to be aware of these dynamics and to promote a more nuanced and balanced understanding of the complex issues surrounding global warming.